Hello folks, this is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball, the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers for the drawing on September 18th, 2019. If you'd like to get my game Decoding the Powerball, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Thank you, and please subscribe. Okay, so the object of my game is for you to correctly eliminate groups of numbers. There are 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. Only 5 numbers can come up as winners, so that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. So for me, I think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. So to help me do that, I'm going to turn to the 5 strategies of my game. So strategy 1 and 2, the game card color code and the 50-50 picks. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, why I make them is to show you on how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This is a format that I came up with that represents the 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage. And the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 11, 27, 31, 36, and 67. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list. And now I'm going to find out what colors they were. Okay, so the 11 was red, the 27 was purple, the 31 was blue, the 36 was blue, and the 67 was green. Okay, so I'm going to color these in. So again, the 11 was red, the 27 was purple, the 31 and 36 were blue, and the 67 was green. Okay, so now I'm going to count how many colors I have. So I got 2 blue, a green, purple, and red for 4 colors total. Okay. So up here, I'm going to make this 367 color code drawings I kept track of so far. And now a 4 color combination has now come up 130 times. Okay. So what I want you to focus on here is the 3 color combination. You can see that that has come up 193 times. Okay. So if you divide 193 into 367, you're going to see that the 3 color combination comes up more than half the time, okay? And to me, that's huge because long term, if I just keep on picking a 3 color combination, I know statistically I'm going to be correct more than half the time. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a new game card. So I'm going to get rid of all these colors and start from scratch. Okay, so my color code is right here. Here's the red numbers, the orange, the green, the blue, and whatever's left over is purple. So basically what I did is I took the 69 white ball numbers, I divided it by 5 colors, and that's 1 color for each of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? And that equals 13.8, okay? So my goal is to get as close to as 13 or 14 numbers per color as possible, or a good representation of each color. Okay, so again, I'm going to start in with the red numbers, and the red numbers are the last 3 drawings of numbers. And the reason why that is because this will give me a maximum of 15 numbers. Okay, so again, I'm going to start in with the 11, the 27, the 31, 36, and 67. The next line down is the 6, 17, 24, 53, and 57. And the last line is 11, and that's already come up. It's already taken, okay? So I'm going to move on to the 20, the 41, the 42, and the 56. So again, I'm going to make these red. And now I'm going to count how many I have here. So I got 5 here and 5 down here for 10 and 4 over here for 14. So I have 14 red, okay? So up here will tell me how many of each color I have on the game card, okay? So I'm going to move on to the orange area here. I'm going to start with the 4, the 8, 30, 52, and 59. The next line down is the 14. The 41 is already taken. So the 50, 56 is already taken and 57 is already taken. So the 9, 32, 37, 41 is taken, 56 is taken. So the next line down is the 5, the 12, the 20 is already taken, the 21, and 47. So again, I'm going to make these orange, and I'm going to count how many I have. So I got 4 and 3 are 7, 2 are 9, 1 is 10, and 4 is 14. Okay, so, I think you understand how I came up with the numbers for my game card here. So I'm just going to speed things up a little bit and scroll over to the game card here. Okay, so again, this is the game card for September 18th, 2019. Again, there was 14 red, 14 orange, turned out to be 15 green, 14 blue, and 12 purple numbers. Okay, so again, more than half the time, a 3-color combination comes up, okay? So that means more than half the time, 2 colors are not coming up, and that's what I want to focus on here. So again, the object of the game is to eliminate groups of numbers, okay? So the strategy is, try to correctly guess what color group will not be coming up and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card, okay? So I want to point out that there's all 5 colors do come up. It's come up 13 times out of 367 drawings, okay? So it does come up, but it's very rare, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a prediction on what color group I don't think is going to come up. And to help me do that, I'm going to turn to the next strategy called the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. So again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers, so there has to be a majority of odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. So I like to keep track of that and try to correctly guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing, okay? So by doing this here, I kind of look at this as a roadmap to the 5 white winning numbers here, okay? So I'm just going to update this first one, the odds and evens. So the first thing I'm going to do is make this 412 drawings I kept track of so far. And this basically goes back to October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the game card, and the numbers came up were odd, 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 even, and odd. Okay, so 4 odd numbers and 1 even. Okay, so I'm going to write down 216 here on the red because that was the majority. So out of 412 drawings, 216 drawings have been the majority of odd numbers. 196 drawings have been the majority of even numbers. Okay, so how I look at this is I like to break things down into 5, so it always shows me that majority. Okay, so out of this 5 drawings, you can see the majority was even numbers, 3 drawings to 2. Okay. So as I keep on going down, you can see what the majority has been. Okay, so, this all leads up to what's going to happen on this next drawing. Okay, so for me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that since the evens is so far behind, I'm going to go with more even numbers are going to come up. Okay, plus another thing that I look at is out of this 15 drawings, the odds had the majority for 15 drawings straight, just about. So I'm going to guess that more even numbers are going to come up than odd. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to write that down on my game card. Again, I feel that this is my roadmap to things, okay, to the winning numbers. So again, I think more even numbers than odd numbers are going to come up. Okay, so moving on to the next one, I have this high and low. So all the numbers in red are considered high. All the ones in blue are considered low. Okay. So as I look, you can see that this is pretty close here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to guess that there's going to be more numbers to the low area than the high. Okay. So I'm predicting more numbers here in this blue area than up here. Okay. So I'm going to write that down as well. More numbers, I think, will be to the low area than the high. Okay, so I got 2 left. I got this left and right. And as I look at this, you can see that as I scroll down through, the right side has had the majority for a long time. So I'm going to go ahead and guess that the majority is going to be to the left-hand side. Okay, so I'm expecting more numbers over here to the left side than the right side. Okay, so when I go to eliminate numbers, I'm going to be looking over here to this right side to eliminate numbers first. Okay, so moving on, let me go back into the game card and write down left. More numbers to the left side. And then I have this red and blue area. And just kind of scrolling down through. This one's a little bit harder because the red is so far in front, 224 to 188. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and say that there's going to be more to the blue area than the red. Actually, I'm not sure about that. I don't have to pick at every single one of them here. Okay, I'm just going to go with the 3. I'm going to go with the left, I'm going to go with high, and I'm going to go with more evens. Okay, so I'm going to move on to picking what color group I don't think is going to come up. Okay, so I did kind of have that feeling that there was going to be more numbers here in this blue area than the red. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and eliminate the blue numbers. Okay, so another big reason why is because a blue number has come up in the last 6 drawings here. So I'm just going to guess that it's due to miss. So I'm going to pick no blue numbers to come up. Okay, so I'm just going to block these out. And hopefully none of these blue numbers come up. Okay, so when I block out numbers like that, that means I'm not even going to consider these numbers when I'm picking what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so another thing that I'm doing here is I'm spending $3 on a Powerball ticket, which includes the Power Play. Okay. So in other words, I'm betting $3 that none of these blue numbers will come up in the next drawing. Okay? So if I'm correct with my bet and none of these blue numbers come up, then I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay? So I'm moving on to the next strategy. And that is strategy number 3, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. Okay, so basically what I did is I took all 69 numbers and divided it into 7 different groups. Okay, so here's group number 1. It holds the numbers of 1 through 9. Okay, this is the only one with 9 numbers, and of course the other 6 have 10 for 69 numbers. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to update this here so you can see that the 11 came up. So I'm going to follow this plane until I find the 11, and now I'm going to make this a red mark. Okay, and the reason why it's red is because the 11 is red. Okay, and the 11 is red because the color code said it was red. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce this down so you can see the whole card. I'll explain how this works. Okay, so basically what I did is I like to break things down into 5, mostly because it shows me that majority of things. But here, I wanted to break it down for a couple other reasons, okay? One is when I go back into the history of things, it's easier to count going 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on, okay? But my theory is that if there's a lot of hits within this 5 drawings here, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5 drawings, okay? So that's kind of what I look for, okay? So again, there's 7 groups of numbers here, okay? And there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? So I know that 2 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it, okay? So the strategy is try to correctly guess what group will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with no 50 numbers right here, okay? You can see that a 50 number has come up in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, it missed this last one here, okay? And since it came up 5 drawings in a row, I'm going to predict that it's going to miss a couple drawings in a row, okay? So I'm going to go with no 50 numbers. So I'm going to blow this back up, go back to the game card, and eliminate the 50 numbers off of my game card. Okay, but before I do, I just want to point out that over here, this will tell me how many groups it hit in the last drawing, okay? So, you know, a 5 hasn't come up in a while, so I'm expecting to be a 3 or possibly a 5, or a 2 hasn't come up in a long time as well. So I've been keeping an eye on that as well. It might be it might be due for a 2 to come up here. Okay, but we'll see. So I just wanted to show you that. Now, one last thing, if you do get my game, you know, you could highlight like this 6 right here and go down and see, you know, what colors have come up or what hasn't come up in a long time. Okay. Now you can see with this area right here for the 1 through 9 numbers, you can see that a red mark hasn't come up in a while now, okay? So I'm expecting one of these red marks to be coming up here pretty soon, all right? So we'll see what happens, and I'm going to go back to the game card, and I'm going to eliminate the 50 numbers off of the game card. So here's the 50, 51, 52, 53 is over here, 54, 55 is gone, 56, 57, 58's here, and the 59. So again, I get rid of those 50 numbers, and hopefully those numbers do not come up, okay? So moving on to the next strategy. That's strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers, okay? Basically what I did is I took all 69 numbers and divided it into 4 different color groups, okay? So when the 5 light winning Powerball numbers land within these color groups, I record where they land down here in the stats. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So the winning numbers were the 11, so that was in the red area. The 27 was in the red. 31 was in the blue. 36 was in the orange, and 67 was in the red. Okay, so there was 3 red numbers that came up. There's one in the blue, that 31. And there was one in the orange, the 36. So there's no winning Powerball numbers in the green area. Okay? So the strategy is try to correctly guess where these zeros are going to pop up. If I could have correctly guessed that none of these green numbers were going to come up in the last drawing, I could have eliminated all these green numbers and gave myself a much better chance at winning some kind of prize in the Powerball lottery. Okay? So when there's a 0, I color the background blue for cold. And if there's a hit, I color the background red for hot, just to give me some separation on things, okay? And here I'm going to make this 102, and this tells me how many of these zeros I have in this column here, okay? So I have 15 of these option cards here. Of course, this is option card number 1, okay? Now, they all use the same colors as red, blue, orange, and green. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card, okay? So again, I'm going to make a prediction, and it's right here at option card number 7. These green numbers here have come up in the last 38 drawings, which is a record for all 15 option cards, okay? So I've been picking at this, I don't know, for the last 10 drawings or so, saying that it's not going to have a number come up, okay? And I'm just going to keep on going with this, okay? So I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here on this next drawing. So I'm going to get rid of all these green numbers here off of my game card. So it's the 4 corners, the middle, this pattern here, and this pattern here. So here you can see this. It says 766, okay? So this 66 and the 8 share this square, so I'm going to get rid of the 8 as well. So I'll explain that in a second here. So here, you can see that there's 5 numbers off to the side here, okay? And when I go back to this group 1, you can see that there's no numbers off here to the side, okay? So this is my way of grouping up numbers, okay? So, I just put it so if the 8 and the 66 do not come up with all these other green numbers, just eliminating those numbers as a group with all the other ones. So this is my way of grouping them together, okay? So I'm moving on to the next one. The next one that I'm going to pick is this option card 13, no orange numbers. So here you can see that these zeros, they double up or even triple up, okay? Here in this orange area, I have 21 of these single zeros that I'm hoping are due to double up right here, okay? So this is a record as well. The last one was 20 single zeros, so I'm up to 21 here. So I'm hoping it's going to be a 0 here, another 0 right here, okay? So I'm going to get rid of the 5 and the 7 and the 14, 16, that pattern all the way down off of my game card. So I'll get rid of the 14, 16, the 21, the 30, the 39, and that's it. Okay, so hopefully none of those numbers come up, all right? And the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers are still left here on my game card, okay? That's the hope anyway. So I'm going to move on to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 5, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. Okay, so much like group 1 where I divided things into 4 different color groups, here I divided things into 8 different color groups. Okay, so it's just another way of looking at groups of numbers, all right? Except with this one, I know that there's 8 color groups here and there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So I know that 3 of these color groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. So the strategy is try to correctly guess what color group will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to update this one as well, okay? So I have 15 of these option cards, all right? And they all have the same colors, red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow for all 15 option cards, okay? And again, it's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card, okay? So again, I'm going to update this as well. So the 11 came up, that was in the orange. The 27 was in the orange. The 31 was in the gray. The 36 was in the green, and the 67 was in the orange. So I had 3 orange numbers, a green, and a gray. So down here I had no winning Powerball numbers in the red area, no winning numbers in the blue area, 3 in that orange, 1 in the green, no winning Powerball numbers in the purple area, no winning Powerball numbers in the brown, the 31 was in the gray area, and no winning Powerball numbers in the yellow area, okay? So over here I'm going to count how many color groups it hit. So I got 1, 2, 3 groups that I hit. Now the majority was over here to the left side, so I'm going to color this 3 red. Okay, so if I'm up here and I'm looking at this 4 for whatever reason, I automatically know that the majority is going to be over here to the left side. Okay, so that's why I do that. All right. So another reason why I do that is because if I see a streak of green like this, that tells me, well, it's going to be red eventually. So I'm going to be looking over here to this right side for, less numbers to be over here. Okay. So again, this is kind of broken right down into the middle here. All right. I think more numbers are going to be over here to the left side than the right side. So I'm going to be looking over here to eliminate numbers. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with the purple. So what you're looking at here is, again, I like to break things down into 5, so it shows me that majority, okay? So here you can see that there is 3 zeros here, so the majority was misses, and when that happens, I color the background blue for cold. The next one down, out of this 5, you can see that there was 5 hits. So the majority is red, okay? So the background is red, okay? So the reason why I do that is because when I see something like this, where it's been really, really red, or really, really hot, well, I know it's going to cool down eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a prediction on what's going to happen, and I'm going to go with this purple here, okay? I think the 0 is going to be right here. We'll see what happens. And I'm going to get rid of these purple numbers. Runs from the 5 down to the 61. So I'll get rid of the 13 and the 37. So hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay, so again, you know, we all look at this a little bit differently. So you may look at this and say, well, I have no idea what you're going to say, but you may say, no, I think it's going to be the yellow over here. Okay, so you could be right. All right, so moving on to number 2. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go with no yellow numbers here. So I think the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these yellows, and that runs from the 57 to the 64. So again, when I go back to the game card here, you're going to see that I think more numbers are going to be to the low side. So I'm looking to the high side to get rid of numbers, okay? So moving on to the next one, option card number 3. I'm going to go with brown. So here's the brown, and as I scroll down here, you can see things got really, really hot down through here, so I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. And we'll see what those brown numbers represent, okay? So it runs from the 5 to the 29 and the 34 to the 68. So I'll get rid of that 42. Hopefully that number does not come up, okay? And it's one more number off of the game card here. So moving on, option card number 4. I'm going to go with orange. So here's the orange. And as I scroll down, you can see that things got pretty hot through here. So I'm hoping that 0 is going to be right here. And that's the 21 and the 49. So that takes 3 more numbers off of the board, off of the game card, okay? So, moving on to 5, I'm going to go with green. So here's the green, and as I scroll down through, see things got pretty hot down through here. Okay, so I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'll get rid of these green numbers, and that's this circle right here. So I'll get rid of the 38. Hopefully that number does not come up. Okay, so moving on to 6. I'm going to go with gray. So here's the gray, and as I scroll down through, things got pretty hot down through here, so I'm hoping that 0 is going to be right here. So that's the 1, 10, 17, 26, that pattern all the way down. So I'll get rid of the 17 and the 33. And hopefully those numbers do not come up. So moving on to number 7, I'm going to go with brown. So here's the brown area right here. I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. We'll see how hot things have been. Okay, so no brown, and that's the 1, 10, 3, 12 all the way across. So I'll get rid of the 3 and the 12. So hopefully those numbers do not come up. So moving on to option card number 8, I'm going to go with green. So here's the green. As I scroll down, you're going to see that things got pretty hot right down through here. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And that's the 8, 13, 24, 29 all the way down. So you can see that there's nothing to get rid of here, okay? So here's the thing with this. For the averages for all 15 option cards, okay, run between 3.8 and 4.2, okay? So what I mean by that, and what I'm trying to say here, is that on average, 4 of these option cards are going to have a hit to it, and 4 of these option cards are going to have a miss to it, okay? So I picked green here. There was nothing to get rid of, okay? So instead of coming back to here and picking another one, okay, the odds of that, if I got this green one correct, the odds of me getting another one correct go way, way up, okay? So I designed this to move on to the next option card where I had that, on average, 50-50 guess again, okay? So here for option card 9, I'm going to go with yellow. I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here, and you can see how hot things have been. So it's the pattern of 12, 17 on the left side, 66, 29 on the right side. So I'll get rid of the 44. And I'm sorry, I'll just get rid of the 44. Okay, so moving on. Option card 10. I'm going to go with yellow again. So here's the yellow, and as I scroll down, you can see how hot things have been. So I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of this pattern of the 20, 65 in all 4 squares. So that 25 shares the square with the 65, so I'm going to get rid of that as well. So that's another 2 numbers off, okay? So moving on to 11, I'm going to go with yellow again. So here's the yellow, and as I scroll down through, so it got pretty high here and then pretty high here, so I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right there. So that's the 4, 12, 21, 29, 39, 47, 50, 68. So I'll get rid of the 4 and the 47. So hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay, so moving on to 12. I'm going to go with red. So here's the red. As I scroll down through. Things are pretty hot here. So I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. I'm going to get rid of these red numbers. And that's the 5 to the 29 and the 33 to the 57. And there's nothing to get rid of. So moving on to 13, I'm going to go with brown. So here's the brown. So you can see how hot things have been here. So I'm hoping that 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of the 29 to the 32 and the 57 to the 60. And again, there's nothing to get rid of. So here in 14, I'm going to go with gray. So you can see how hot things have been here in this gray area. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And that's the 8, 12, 24, 28. So I'll get rid of the 28. And you can see the 37, 41, 69, 57. So I'll get rid of the 41 as well. Hopefully those 2 numbers did not come up. Okay, and the last one is option card 15. And I'm going to go with green. So here's the green. So hopefully the 0 is going to be right here. Okay, so it's the 12, 20, 26, 27. And I'll get rid of the 27. Okay, so that leaves me with 6 numbers here. Okay, so I need 5. All right. So this is where I turn back to the 50-50 picks again. So again, I thought there was going to be more even numbers than odd. Okay. So I need the 2, the 6, and the 36. Okay. And I thought there was going to be more numbers to the low side. So this doesn't really help me out at all. But I also thought there was going to be more numbers over here to the left side. Okay. So I need all these 3 numbers, the 2, 9, and 36, and I need the 6 as well. So now I have to make a decision on what I think is going to happen. It's either the 15 or the 31 I have to get rid of. Okay? So as I look at this, over here, I haven't seen 3 red in a while. Okay, what I mean by that is, like here you can see that there's 3 green numbers. Here there's 4 green numbers. Here there was 3 purple, 3 blue. Okay, I haven't seen 3 red in a long time, so I think I'm going to get rid of the 15. Okay, so the numbers that I'm going to go with are the 2, 6, 9, 31, 36. Okay, so let me just highlight these. And again, the numbers I'm going to go with are the 2, 6, 9, 31, and 36. Okay, so, I think Sherlock Holmes said it best when he said it's a matter of deduction. So if these blocked out numbers don't come up, then these highlighted numbers have to come up. Okay? So, what are the odds that I made all the correct picks? Okay? So let me go over the official odds. Okay, the official odds for getting all 5 white balls correct and the red ball, the grand prize, the odds of that are 1 in 292 million. Okay, my goal is to get all 5 white balls correct. And what I mean by that is that the game is geared up for the 5 white balls. Okay? The odds of that are 1 in 11,688,000. So, in other words, you can make nearly 5 million, nearly 12 million 5-number combinations out of 69 numbers. Okay? So, I don't want to give any kind of illusions that this is going to be easy to win. Okay? So, another nice prize would be getting 4 white ball numbers and the red ball. That pays 50,000. Plus the power play, okay? And the odds of that are just about 1 in a million, all right? And then you can see the smaller amounts. Getting 4 white balls pays $100. Getting 3 white balls pays $7. And if you get the red ball, that pays $4. Plus the power play, okay? So, I think playing responsibly is very important, okay? So I just want to say that for a budget, if you spend $3 per drawing, there's 2 drawings per week, you would spend $312 per year on the lottery, okay? So moving on, I do have something for the Powerball number itself, okay? So there's 26 red numbers in the Powerball lottery here. So basically in this column, I just divided those numbers in 2, okay? So if you see a blue number, that's low, 1 to 13. If you see a red number, that's high, 14 to 26. Over here in this column, if you see a red number, that's odds. If you see a blue number, that's evens, okay? So why I do this, why the colors, is because if I see a long streak of blue like this, well, I know it's going to turn red eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen, okay? So I'm looking at this again for another long streak. So I'm thinking that this next one is going to be red. So I'm thinking it's going to be a high number of 14 to 26. And over here, I'm thinking that this is going to be red as well. So I'm just going to concentrate on the high odd numbers, okay? So the 15, 17, 19, 21, 23, and 25. I'm just going to concentrate on those instead of all 26, okay? So in closing, I want to thank you for watching. If you would like to support my channel, then please go to my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. Okay? As always, I want to wish you the best of luck with your picks.